Hey guys, this latest book from David Eagleman I think it's his best book, and I've listened to a few others. I've audiobooked them all. This one he reads himself. It is very, very, very good. I would say it's my favorite nonfiction from 2020 that I have read so far, and he writes so wonderfully. He has such a clear voice, but at the same time, just have like tons of aha moments. So he writes about the brain, and that's pretty much all of his books are about the brain in some respect. This one is kind of focusing on, it's called Livewire because the ability of the brain to take whatever information it's getting as electrical signals and to find patterns in that in remarkable ways. So he talks about people that have had half their brain removed, and like the remaining part uses the resources that it has. He talks about people born with less than optimal brain activity, or brains like that are missing parts of the brain. He talks a lot about the thing about this book that I liked the most, that I had so many aha moments and felt like I was looking into the future and could see what jobs are going to be in demand in 10, 20 years, what people are going to be doing and how they're going to be interacting with the internet in totally new ways, is these bodysuits. And it's not limited to bodysuits, but this is kind of where we're at now, in which, say you wear this suit and it's connected that it can receive some kind of sensory input. So it could be a camera, it can be a microphone getting sound, but some kind of sensations are coming to it, and it converts that into, like vibrations on the suit, some kind of movement that your body, I'm not clear exactly how long this takes. It could be maybe a few weeks or a month, depending on the type of signal and the complexity of it, I imagine. That eventually, though, your body, I don't know if you have to train it, but this is something interesting too, but like in some ways your brain gets used to the signal, interprets the signal, and blind people are able to, see. And I'm not at all clear about what this experience is like for a blind person who is getting the signal and converts it into visuals. I mean, I imagine if they were once able to see, it's kind of like seeing a picture, but what if they were never able to see and they're just able to interpret the data and react to what they're seeing? I don't know. But the key idea, though, is that it's not limited just to sound, to senses that we're missing or that our current senses. We can expand on our senses so that, like, cameras can obviously do things that the human eye is not capable of, and we can use that as new sensory data, and we can have enhanced vision, enhanced hearing, and so on. So not just that, but also, like, imagine being able to like smell through the internet, things like that. Or imagine being able, he talks about this, like connecting the suit or other sensor to a hashtag, for example, on Twitter, so that when this hashtag kind of flares, you feel it, and it's kind of like the level of ESP. So there's a lot of wonderful things. I even got the idea, I'm not going to talk about what it is, but I got this wonderful idea for an invention that I think if I was more technologically know-how-ish, I would, try and patent, because I think it has a lot of potential. But I'm going to keep my lips sealed for now about it. Anyways, this book, yeah, I would say it's pretty short, and the audiobook is great, so maybe if you like audiobooks, I highly recommend it. It is like seeing into the future in a lot of ways, and he just writes very clearly. I'd say he's probably in my top 5 nonfiction writers living today, up there with, who else, like Alex Ross, his music books, Tim Wu. There's only a few that I think are really this level of nonfiction writing. So he's a great writer, and I think it does what popular science books should do. It makes you want to go beyond the popular science, because I think of popular science books as like science without the math, or science without, not science without the science, but without the really fine-grained nitty-gritty of science, so that you just get the big picture. But after reading a good popular science book, I think you should want to go on and read and learn the actual detailed, math or whatever is involved with the science. So that's what this has prompted me to do. I've been wanting to get into programming. I took like a Java course at one point, but it is kind of calling me, but it's just I'm focusing on so many other things right now that I don't want to get started on it unless I can really dig my feet in. So maybe in the future, because neuroscience is fascinating too. I love anatomy, physiology. That's incredible stuff. And this direction we're heading with, people have been talking about it since Cyberpunk and all that, since at least the 80s, or if not earlier, that, melding our bodies with, electronics. And I think that is the direction, right? Not just electronics though, but the internet, which is, once we're connected to that, that information is accessible, and being able to do things that are legitimate ESP, essentially being able to communicate without even speaking or without even letting people know that you're with right at the moment, that you're communicating, like using your fingers or using your eyebrows or something. I don't know, but like we're at that level almost of being able to have these superpowers through these things and through what these algorithms and this data allows us to train our own brains. And there's a lot of wonderful. I'm listening to this other audiobook about smart drugs and cognitive behavior therapy and electronic stimulation of the brain, which is still very experimental at this point. But people are self-experimenting, and I think we're going to have totally new ways of. We're just right now. It's not really. There's just way too many unknowns, but give it a few years, and this stuff is going to just. It's going to have that same effect of all these processes in which the haves and have-not people that do not understand this stuff are going to be like illiterate. So I would suggest you start learning about it now, and this is a great book to start with. David Eagleman, Livewired. Check it out.